Welcome back, everybody. Just Mike here. I have this clock that I thought was unique, and that's why I bought it, but I have no idea who made it. The key does say something on it, but when I looked it up, it was a key company that makes these special keys, I guess. And so anyway, let me show you this clock, and hopefully after you give me a thumbs up and subscribe because it's free. Here's the clock. This is the clock. It's ticking right now as I set blocks because my desk is a little unlevel. Not that unleveled, so it does need adjusted. It's got these, I'm going to call them diamonds, right? Rhinestones, whatever, around the dial, and it is missing one. When they shipped it, they put the tape over the glass, which is kind of common to keep the glass from vibrating. The problem is this is a very heavy clock, and they shipped it in a bigger box, and so it rattled around. As you can see here, this here piece right there and right there got hit backwards, and it's starting to break, so I have to deal with that. This does have a porcelain dial. The key, you can see there, it says made in England. What was that? Popular Progresses. So it has the end for setting the speed of the time, and then of course the end that will wind the clock. This clock, like I say, the reason why I bought it is it has this big, we'll call it column in here of what I can see of the pictures, and has 3 posts on either side. This one here is just sitting there. That one got knocked out during shipping also. See, besides the porcelain dial, and besides this thing being filthy, and it also didn't come with a pendulum, so I had the weighted pendulums that would normally, I imagine, go to this clock, set it on there, got it so the tick-tock sound was even, and it's been ticking away. I know the gong wire or the hammer wire is about to break, but it is now over by the gong, so it kind of works. Let's turn this clock around and see what we can find. So on the back, I'm not sure, like I said, I don't know anything about this clock. There is a heavier screw here, and I'm not sure what that will release. And then it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, so that might be the way into this clock. I do believe, get my magnet, it's a steel clock. This doesn't have any catch, so you gotta kind of stick your fingernail in there to get it open. And there's what you see so far. What I'm gonna do is remove the movement, and the way to do that is you have this screw here and this screw here. This plate here will come off and the movement will fall out the front. Here we have something. I'm sure you can read that. I need my magnifying glass to see what all this says. Here's a 5/. I still can't see it. It's either a 5 or maybe it's a 51211. Let's see. 4424 right there. I don't know, that's when someone might have worked on it. I have no idea. Oh, New Haven Clock Company right here. So for now, let me go ahead and remove the movement. And we're going to have to get into this box anyway, so I'll be taking these other screws out to figure out how to get these here columns on and off. Because right now, I'll slip this one out because it's just sitting in there. You have the top. This one happens to be a wood stick that's covered, or a wood dowel, let's say. And down here, none of this is nailed in, but this here has a screw or a thread that it's bolting onto. I don't, like I say, at the moment understand how these work to get them on off. Even this part, I didn't see a nail hole, so I don't know if this is pressured up to fit tight or just how this thing works. Anyway, let me get the movement out. This is the weight I hung on there to get the tick. Actually, doesn't look that bad. I don't know if someone's gone through or not. These here are the arms that connect to the screws on the back to suck this up to keep it from falling out, evidently. And to, at the moment, in order to level this so it has an even tick-tock, I was watching on Mark's channel, and when you go to install this, you listen for the tick-tock sound and you turn the dial either way slowly to get the nice even tick-tock sound when the clock is on a level surface. Anyway, let's set this aside for now because, like I say, it is ticking. It has bluish colored springs in here. Kind of feel like this here has been worked on before as it looks so good. So we have this screw out, the two, this screw, this one here, and this one here evidently went into wood. So this hopefully, yep, will come out. I started tipping the clock to see inside, and this has the original pendulum stuffed up inside here. So it might have been flying around inside the clock during shipment and just happened to go up inside there. So in so many words, how cool is that? So by the looks of it, I need to take this here wood board off in order to get to these, to get them either to come on, off, whatever. And let's go ahead and take this crown part off. Number one, so we don't ruin it anymore. but also to see about fixing it. This just has a simple screw inside here that'll let it out. So here you can see better where it's broke on both sides. And with it out, I might have a better chance of repairing it. And when I talk about repairing it, I wouldn't have the foggiest. So I might, let's just say, try pushing it back together, but have super glue in there and baking soda on hand, on hand to dress it up a little bit where I can. Obvious, this needs cleaned. Pick these two screws out and oh, I see, it's the weight of the gong that's making me a little bit worried. These feet turn to come off. Now you can see on the other side, this one here must have broke off or something. And I see no dates or anything else inside here. This has been, I'd say, painted, so it looks good. So someone did try to give this clock a little bit of loving. So each one of the columns have got the screw here, and the screw pushes up on the plate. Pushes up on the plate, I guess. Well, actually it doesn't, because it's not threaded into here. It's loose, as you can see. So I'm not sure exactly what they... Oh, maybe what it does, it pushes up on the center of the wood. The wood holds this and just shoves it up into place, and I guess that will work as long, you're not supposed to be pulling on these things, but that's the best I can see of how these things work. It does have that chip out of it, but you can put that to the back, no big deal. And I'm quite certain these are covered with paper. So I guess what I'm going to probably do is I'd actually like to get the rest of these out. I'm going to try turning them. If they don't turn, I'm going to have to add a little bit of something to loosen those screws up and get them to turn, because this is a metal case. This is a metal column that I think is part of that, but I'd actually like to get in here and maybe clean it up a little bit better. I got to be careful. This here finish or whatever might be on here, I don't want to ruin this look here that is on that, but I want to do cleaned up somewhat. They do have, when they put together, like a glue, it looks like, so it would be seamless. You can see a little bit of it right here. And you can see this stuff here. So it might be something where you would want to be really careful with doing something with this clock, as in cleaning it too much. So taking these columns off, these screws are notch froze on there. The very end column is a full deal, I guess we'll call it. The next ones, this one here, we'll say is cut down, and so is this one, to get the columns to come closer to the clock. Like I say, these things aren't bad to get out, as in I go ahead and unscrew it all the way. That's going to have to come out anyway. And there you have, this is what's up against the wall, and that one too. And one of them I noticed had a shim, and I don't know if that's plastic or cardboard. It could be cardboard if you wanted to put new ones on there. I'm also going to take off these fancier legs so we can clean them up too. Get in behind. This here, right here anyway, that looks like paint. And paint might be the way to go. I've started trying to shine these things up, and looking inside, they don't look like they're solid brass or just paint, but it does have some nicks of a shine there. Well, I did wash this with Murphy's soap, and came a lot cleaner, or I should say possibly this gold color's coming out. It's not the best, but it is an old clock. Anyway, I'm afraid to go any further because I don't want to lose this gold stuff on here. If I was to lose it, I'd imagine I would try my hand at replicating it again, I guess we'll say. But I just soon not. So I think what I'm going to do now is go ahead and wax this clock just as something simple to give it maybe something more. And then once I get these end pieces where these fit in cleaned, I haven't decided what I'm going to do with them yet, because I'm not sure if they're really brass or if they're pot metal. There's a chance, because they look like they've been painted, I might paint them again to make them shiny, but right now I have them soaking, trying to get whatever's on them off. To me, these look like pot metal because I look inside the broken part. But these are really shining up, working at it. This is one of the feet. This is one that's just been washed. That's been washed too, but it has this white something on it. And it could be a sprayed clear finish on these to shine them up. This one I steel wooled. This one I did not. These are harder. This is steel wooled. This one is not. Steel wooled. Not. So you can see that white film stuff on there. So I kind of gave up on these shining up nice. I did fix this. I put some, I was able to slightly bend it shut again. And I used super glue and a little bit of the baking soda. I didn't do too much here. It's noticeable if you get really close to it. This is the part that hooks onto the clock right here. There's actually a hole. There we go. And so now I'm going to go ahead and put all these pieces on before I put the movement in. I've already took a cloth and buffed out the clock the best I could from the wax. It's not going to get, let's call it shiny, because this clock does have, what do they call it, crazing in the finish that's on here. But at least now it stands out nicely compared to before. You could barely see it. So to put these back in, it's kind of hard to decide whether you're level or not, because what you're doing is you screw the screw in, it pushes on this dowel, and it pinches it into place. And there's a chance I might still have it out. I can see where this one used to set. So let's try that out. We first need to get our screw and one of our legs. There we go. The first two have the flat side. The last one is a full circle. So I just have to get this thing started straight. I screw this in until I feel the screw coming up to or through. Then I use these that they had in there. Pop one of those in there. And it doesn't want to stay, so we'll stick a stick in there now if we can, to hold it into place. And then these tops, they also have a flat side except the very last one. And I've been pushing them clear into the back. And I snug them up good enough that these aren't going to slide out of the way. So the last one, you got to use one of these that doesn't have a cutaway. And the same with this. It's a nice round piece. And the reason why is this is small here and it gets bigger as it comes around. Now that one's loose, so I have to tighten it up. And I can imagine why, because you're putting pressure on both sides here. That one's a little bit loose, so we'll check them out, but otherwise they don't look bad. So on my dial, because of these rhinestones, glass, whatever it is, I'm not going to clean this up because, number one, I don't want anything getting in here that would be difficult to get out. And it's not necessarily, yes, it is seen, but it's not necessarily seen. It might be beautiful cleaned up, but it'd just be this edge here, not this. This fits inside the clock. So I'm going to go ahead and get this movement, which has been taken away, installed back on its pins. Got my 3 pins in. I had to lift the bottom out and get these 2 in, and then it seemed to pop right in, so possibly on one of these 2 front or upper pins it might be just a little bit bent. So now to get this piece in, I just scrubbed this. It looked like some kid took a red crayon and scratched whatever in there. Not a heart attack, I guess. I'm thinking I have to fit these in, not even snug, just get them in so I can get the screws in, and so I know this is all in place of where it needs to be. This finished breaking off, and so I went ahead and glued totally inside with super glue and put it together, and I put soda, baking soda on there on both sides. And so I'm going to let it, let's say, dry up a bit in time to, hopefully this will be welded together again, and that way I can repaint this again and make it look like it wasn't damaged. It's too bad they didn't pack this clock right. So my friend Mark, he says to get that pendulum to swing right so you have an even beat, yeah, we need that off. So you turn the dial and then snug this back up again and test it again. That doesn't sound bad at all. The company's gone out of business, but it's nice to have one of these. That is so soft. I don't know if I mentioned, but this is a thick piece of glass, and it's been ground. It's a flat glass. It's been ground so it'd fit in there, so it has a beautiful edge on here. And this is a nice clock because it's a nice soft sound. You wouldn't hear it very far away, but if you have this in your TV room, we'll say, so now I have to watch for the time. I still got these two wood screws to put in. It goes into the wood board that holds the actual gong. And I can put those in. And like I say, we have this key here. We have this key here that says fast and slow. And so this is what I'll be setting the speed with. I'm not sure that that pendulum goes with this clock because it also has an adjuster that you can adjust the speed of how fast this clock is running. I need to clean the window too. You can't see it, but I can see it. So it's nice to have another clock done, and it's really nice that the movement was clean, and this clock evidently ran when they brought it to GW. Sad that this part got broke. These, like I say, I buffed them, and they were actually pot metal, and they didn't look that great, in my opinion. And so I had a gold paint in which it's kind of fake-aloo. It's supposed to be a real shiny, and it didn't work the greatest in my opinion, but from 10 feet away it looks beautiful. I love this clock anyway. I wish I still had that last little diamond in there, but for as old as this clock possibly is, I'm surprised it has any. So it's nice to have another fantastic clock going again. The New Haven's clock is a wonderful clock. I was just amazed that it was a metal clock, and pot metal I'm sure it's built out of, and also has a little bit of steel in it, maybe, I'm not sure. But anyway, the pillar clocks have always been ones that I've enjoyed, the bigger pillars on the sides, and this one definitely fit the bill. Very lucky that the movement was perfect, we'll say. I went ahead and oiled it, but I could tell it already had some oil in it, and so I didn't get carried away there. And my oiler dumps the oil out and sucks it back in, so that helped me a lot too. Anyway, if you appreciate this video, give me a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it myself. And don't forget to subscribe because it's free. And until next time, God bless.